Hello everyone, this is Jimmy Singh, broker owner of Supermax Realty 647-961-2639. Some of my clients have reached out to me this week and want me to make a market update video about a real estate market and want to know my opinion and how do I feel about it. See folks, I'm making this video in August 8th, 2022. And what I feel is all these corrections, whether it's real estate market or stock market, these corrections typically mess with our heads. And then we start living in fear and we feel that this market will gonna continue to collapse forever. Homeowners who bought at the peak of the market earlier this year, I'm sure they see now in the same neighborhood, house values have declined, but they don't need to fret about these things. Because any of these, cycles, if you see historically for last 20 years, 15 years, these, price declines are short-lived. So right now, I feel the way, bank have aggressively raised the interest rate, we might, see the market slow down for 6 months, 1 year, maybe 2 years, right? For example, I was reading an article in the morning about NASDAQ 100. I personally invest in stocks as well. So NASDAQ is actually a tech heavy index and it is down 25% since December peak. And if I see the past 5 years how NASDAQ have performed, it is up 90% in 5 years. And if I see the stock index which we call S&P 500 and compare for last 5 years, it is up 65%, though this year it is down 15%. A lot of news in the media, they take that 15-20% correction and they blow out of proportion and create fear, and then they throw the news and play with people's emotions. So if you look at long-term charts, you can simply Google the stats put by your local real estate board historically for the past 10-15 years. You can Google TREB stats, Toronto Real Estate Board stats. You will see prices have historically risen 5%, and this will be another blip in short term. And you shouldn't lose sleep over it because I'm not losing mine. I'm a real estate broker owner. I sell houses. I invest in houses myself. I bought rental properties this year in 2022 earlier when it was at the peak. But again, I'm not selling. So whatever the loss or the price decrease, it is, it doesn't, bother me. Another thing, guys, you have to understand is this is an opportunity for a lot of folks who are looking to acquire property in their preferred neighborhood. Maybe if they call their realtor, to buy a house in certain neighborhood in January, February, they might be outbid by investors. How? Because let's say they have 20% down payment, they have certain limit set by the bank for the pre-approval, they can't go over it. Whereby the investor, they have line of credit, they have extra savings, they can stretch that limit to beat the first time buyers. So this is kind of, silver lining for buyers. Yes, sales are down. And then, a lot of media is saying market is crashing. Yes, if you compare, for example, last year, 2021, which was a record year both for sales and price. So it is just comparing, for example, let's say you have, you watch tennis. So let's say you have a tennis star which plays for local, league or province, and you start comparing his yearly stats with Nadal or Federer, or maybe you start comparing NHL, if you are a fan of other sports, you can see maybe their season stats, and then you compare the same hockey league with the stats of greats like Wayne Gretzky, you will be disappointed because we are comparing with one of the best years with the historic averages. So last year, if you see guys, home probably takes 1 day, 2 days, 3 days to sell. And you see a lot of realtors says sold over asking, 100,000, 200, 300,000. But right now it is taking longer. And as a seller, let's say for example, I want a 90-day closing. So even if it takes 60 days or 30 days for my house to sell, I should be okay unless I'm committed to buy something else. Another thing I like to discuss is in regards to mortgage rate rise. Lot of social media posts I have read in last month or two is regarding people will default on mortgages. First thing is, yes, when the rates go up, it does impact real estate. And right now, the way banks are doing it is to stabilize our markets. But then again, if I take a historical perspective, for example, I'd pick up some stats, the years I bought first properties. So for example, if I go April 2006, that time, the mortgage prime rate, which we say was 5.75. And then if I go July 2007, prime rate was 6.25. If I go March 2008, it was sitting at 5.25. And the prime rate in 2022 August as of today is sitting at 4.70%. See, folks, these prime rates are used by banks for variable mortgages and other loans. So if you take a 10-15 year perspective, we still have lowest prime rates ever. And banks obviously build buffers because of the stress test. So when these rates increase, they want to protect their consumers or the borrowers who have mortgages. So which is exactly what's happening right now when you see the rate hikes. So recent rate hikes won't impact most of the buyers who bought in last 1 year, 2 year, or some people whose renewals are coming in 2024, 2026, 2025. Of course, if you're shopping today, you will be paying more interest rate, but that is just obvious. So if people bought house thinking the rate is going to be 1.99 forever, those people might be caught in this kind of cycle, right? And especially obviously some people who are into private mortgages, they borrow at crazy rates, 9%, 10%, 12%. Those are the people that have to sell in panic because they can't write if they're tight on the cash flow. Another thing I like to share with a lot of my clients is, the sellers call me, right? And then they ask me, is it a good time to sell? How is the market? See folks, since 2019 and or early 2020, in most market, whether you're sitting in London, you're sitting in Kitchener-Waterloo, you're sitting in Brampton, Mississauga, Peel, King City, Markham, all those prices, in these markets have risen 50 to 100%, 50 to 60% in last 2 years. And these obviously are not sustainable, right? And at the end of the day, if you, are a seller and you bought your house maybe 5-10 years ago, you should be fine. Because if let's say you didn't renovate your house versus a neighbor who just sold a house in January and you want to get the same kind of money, you might not set a record for the neighborhood in current market, but still the returns you will get since you bought the property 10 years ago, those are exceptional returns. And I see sellers not panicking the market, guys. I work with a lot of sellers. I sell, list and sell a lot of houses. The candid conversation I have with these sellers, what if you don't get your price? And trust me, 80% will say if we don't sell the house, we will just keep it, right? Because they do have substantial equity. A lot of people think who are buying these $1 million homes. I made these videos, last year I made this video 9 months ago. I know a lot of folks who bought their house. Right now their mortgages are paid off, or maybe they have 100 or 200,000, mortgage on their properties. And when they take all that equity to their bigger properties, they are doing fine. In the meantime, their kids have grown up and they're living in big extended families like a lot of cultures do. They have 3, 4, 5 sources of income. I have seen some clients qualified with top tier banks with 4 or 5 people name on the title. So if 5 people, 4 people are making income, they're living in a $2 million house, there is no need for them to panic. They can ride this wave. Another thing, for the buyers, I just want to say, stop listening to negative media news. Just, put your blinders and focus what is required for your family. Certainly, interest rates have risen. Borrowing costs have probably, kind of be same if the house prices came down. And I was reading stats. They said, some of the markets in GTA, Greater Toronto area, house prices for detached houses, they are down 4 to 500,000. Right? So it's kind of balancing act. So if you want to rent, folks, just want to wait for the bottom, just, make a simple Google search, see the rent spike in your local markets. So rents are not lower. And if you want to say, I want to save my money, put in the bank, inflation is taking a bite. Inflation is at historically 7-8%. So your money is losing its value and you have no way to hide. At the end of the day, guys, all I have to say is, markets go up, markets go down, and also historically, July, August is kind of slow markets. The reason being sellers, buyers, everybody go on vacation. Even for last 2-3 weeks, I was away with my family, spending time. So these are, normally slow months. Even August is a slower month. September, typically activity historically picks up because schools open, people are looking for different neighborhoods. So no need to panic, guys. That's all the message I have to give. Think long term, put your blinders, tune yourself out of all these negativities. You will do fine. If you're in a market to buy, sell real estate, and you're looking for a professional realtor, give our team of Supermax Realty a call. You can reach me directly at 647-961-2639, or you can visit our website www.supermaxrealty.ca. Or if you're an agent, just took a real estate license, not sure how to navigate this market, or maybe you're a newer agent in this business, give me a call so we can discuss how we can help you reach your goals. Thanks for watching. God bless.